All right, guys, welcome back. We're here with Blake, my finance guy, and we're going to talk about how the heck do you know when it's the right time to retire? Because nobody wants to be like a Brett Favre, right? So how do you get retirement ready? When do you know you're ready to retire? Help us out.
Yeah. So first of all, related to Brett Favre, and I think now he's cutting grass. That's his big thing. He's finally retired, just cutting grass. He actually helps out at a local high school. But no, it's a good question. And I always tell my clients there's really two sides of this. And that's in life. You've got two types of compensation. You've got monetary, that's like the money and how do you survive. Then you have the emotional. And I always tell people, and you won't hear a lot of financial advisors tell you this, but because they'll want to do all this analysis and things like this. But if you feel like it's time and it's affecting your health and your emotions, that's one really good way to know. You might not make the same, sure, but if it doesn't matter if you're not happy and you're not living a healthy lifestyle. So that'd be the first thing. And secondly, the monetary part of it is there's a lot of things that you can get to be retirement ready. And we always use these, building blocks. And so how do you build a home? You build a home foundation up, not roof down. And so part of that foundation is getting a third party, what they call financial needs analysis. I use the analogy of, growing up, you're a kid, your parents tell you to do something, you may not listen the same way as if somebody that you know and respect tells you. It's the same message, it's just coming from a different source. It's an outside looking in. Mm-hmm. So when we meet with our clients, when I meet with my clients, I look at a financial needs analysis, which includes your expenses and your income. And what that retirement looks like. I really try to get into the visualization with people. Do you want to be a part of a country club? Are you okay playing a municipal golf course? Nothing wrong with that. Are you wanting to travel? And these people say, I want to travel. Okay. Do you want to travel across town to another state or another country? Huge differences. So discretionary income, discretionary expenses, that's like what you choose to spend your money on. So we break all that down, and that starts with the income, assets, and then we go to the expenses and the liabilities. So once you kind of get a good beat on that and what your gap, if any, is, now you can determine if you're retirement ready, number one, and if you're not, how do I fill that gap? That's what it's always about. If I'm used to making a certain amount and now I'm making this, how do I fill that gap? And not just that, but how do I make sure that that continues to climb somehow because of inflation or because the cost of milk goes up or gas? Right. So now we get into a whole different type of planning. But at the end of the day, it's really, I use this analogy, it's the napkin approach, right? We draw two columns.
The napkin's
exactly.
Great.
It's like you can't go wrong with that. So if you can't present something on a napkin, it's too complicated.
I can't work with you if you can't present on a napkin, folks. I need a napkin.
Yes, yeah. So we draw a T-chart, right? Everyone knows what a T-chart is, and we say, okay, here's your incomes. Boom, boom, we'll list them out for you and your spouse. Here's your expenses. And here's the ones that are variable, which means they change, and here's the ones that are fixed. Your house may be paid off, but guess what? You still got the electric bill, you still got the taxes, things like this. Mm-hmm. So once we break those down, it becomes much more clear to people, and most people have never done this. It becomes much more clear to people, and then we're able to better help and assist. And most of the time, it's not me even suggesting, it becomes clear to them because it's on paper, and I help them work through it.
Mm-hmm. Is there any particular age that you think that someone should start thinking about this, or how soon or how late is it to have a conversation with a financial advisor?
Oh, it's never too late. I'll give you an example. I've met with numerous clients that said just that very thing. Well, I've only got 3 or 4 years left. And sometimes those are my biggest savers because I meet with them and I determine, hey, they've got no car payment. Maybe they just paid their house off. And they can just sock a bunch of money away to make up for lost time. So it's never too late. I've even had people start in their last year of retirement and save a bunch of extra money that helped pay the electric bill for the rest of their life. So that's number one. It's never too young either. I meet with a lot of people that say, well, I'll think about that later. What they fail to realize is when you're young, you're just getting a career, maybe you don't own a home, maybe you don't have kids, that's the least amount of responsibility that you're probably ever going to have in your life. Right. When I first started out, I was 22, fresh out of college, and I helped a lot of my friends who happen to be educators in setting their plans up before they even got a first paycheck. They never missed it. And so I always tell the young folks is that you got to start, you actually want to be very aggressive young, because there may be a time you have to scale back when you have more expenses.
Yeah. And I think if you start that habit early on, like in your 20s, which nobody wants to even think about retirement or saving. When you get out of school, you get your first job and you're like, hey, I'm starting to make real money. And so what I see tends to happen is you start making more money, but then you start spending more money,
Right.
and you go out and you buy that fancy car, or you're getting that table service, and you're not saving. And had you had that conversation early on where you have a plan, or at least know this is how much money you're bringing in, so you should be tucking away this, maybe you'd be able to retire sooner.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, so you have a couple of different things at work here. You've got time value of money. The longer and earlier you save, it's going to grow more because of compounding interest. Interest on top of interest, on top of principal, that's compounding interest. So time value of money, you can start at 25 and save half the amount as what you would need to start at 35, same as 45, because of the longer length of time for it to accrue.
Yeah, so don't go out and get that bottle service.
Yeah.
Instead,
You won't remember the night before,
yeah,
after anyway.
yeah. Instead, set up a time, talk to Blake, get a plan in place so that you can retire sooner.
Yeah, pay yourself first. That's the name of the game.